Did we hit record yet?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay. Well, good morning, good afternoon,
Good afternoon, sir.
or good evening. I don't know what time you're listening to this, but you are listening to Your Time Is Now. What's Your Story by Trevor Hapless. Today, I got a good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew David Stetson.
Stetson.
Whatever.
You and a bunch of other people always get it wrong.
Dude, I think I've known you for what? How long have I known you now? For like what,
I think
5?
technically 5 years. I don't know who hit who up on like Facebook or something, but like I think you messaged me first and you're like, sup, and I'm just like, hello.
Yeah, I think it was like during that time where it was like, that pandemic era where you were just making friends. But like, you were already in the music scene, so I probably like, I don't know, like I've like I don't know, like I feel like I met you before, but I didn't. But then one day I just messaged you, and then like we just became friends. Like
I saw that we had like a few mutual friends too, so I'm like, all right, this guy knows so and so and whatnot, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not like a complete stranger with no mutual friends on Facebook.
Yeah,
where you're like, oh my god,
everybody knows everybody nowadays.
I guess like I mean, it's just so weird. And like you follow someone on Instagram. Hey, do you know this person? No, we just went to Instagram together.
Yeah, pretty much.
But okay, well, Matt, I'm glad you're here with me today. But listen, so I've known you for a while, and you are probably one of the hardest working musicians / producers in the Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you deal with a lot of clients, and I've seen you deal with like a lot of different musical projects. You and I, we played in No Wonder together for what, 3 years?
Yeah, something like that.
3-4 years, something like that. So, I just want to know like your story on how like music impacted your life. You're what, 28 now?
Yeah.
Okay, dang, pushing 30. But I want to know, man. Like, I mean, you've been around. You've obviously been around for a while. So, just tell me, like, what got you into music? What got you producing music, and just overall, like, your time in the Bay Area as a musician. Like, what it's gotten, like, what it's done for you.
So essentially, I think like the first time I was ever like exposed to any kind of like music was probably when I was about like 2, and I just remember like going over. I was driving with my mom to pick up my brother from his friend's house, and I walked in, and like to my right, I see that there's this massive drum kit, and I just walk over and just start wailing on it, and then like.
So you just started like like drum set bop. Like,
yeah, pretty much. My mom just comes over. She's like, Matthew, what are you doing? And just like pulls me off of it. And after that, it was pots and pans like every other drummer would do growing up. And then probably when I was like 6 or something like that, my parents got me the first act drum kit, just the really shitty, teeny tiny drum kit with like one crash cymbal, one hi-hat, and just a kick, a snare, and a tom, and that was it.
It's like those those $50 or like no, like those $100 kits that like you buy at like JCPenney or like that's hella funny actually, because I remember when I was like 6, I had a drum kit, and it was like a red one. It was like a small red one that I kept in my room. But it was just like it was like the same thing. It was like your bass drum, a snare, a hi-hat. It's like kind of like I wouldn't say like a cocktail kit that jazz musicians use.
Yeah,
but it's obviously like it's a kid's drum set, so it's like you can't really do much of it. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Like every musician I feel like I've ever talked to has had that once upon a time growing up.
And like the drumsticks too, they had like custom drumsticks. They were probably a little bit smaller than this can, because like if you put like a regular sized drumstick like a Vic Firth or something, you're just gonna beat the shit out of the drum heads and have like no control. So I pretty much beat that thing to pieces, and finally got my first real drum kit in, I don't know, Christmas time of 05 or something like that.
Oh dang! So you've been playing music for quite a while. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. So you started out playing drums, is what I'm assuming. So would you say, because I know I've seen you playing in a lot of projects over the years, and you were mainly a guitar player. I know you played drums in Captive State. What would you say what would you say like your more strong suit is? Like drums or guitar? I feel like to me, I feel like you're really good in both and you excel in both really well. But what would you say is like your strong suit?
It's kind of both, like pretty good at both, but I would guess drums probably just because that's what I've been playing the longest. And like with guitar, I'm really good at like making weird chords and making things sound cool. But like if you give me a scale to do, it's gonna take time to learn that.
Would you say you're more of like I feel like most drummers, they are like rhythm guitar players.
Yeah, I can pick up a drum beat like instantly.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed though with a lot of drummers. If they're transitioning over to guitar, they always play rhythm, it seems like. But I've also seen a lot of people play lead as drummers as well. But who like influenced you to like really play drums though? Because was there like a certain band that you had, a certain drummer that just was like, "Oh my god, like I want to be like him."
I would say Trey Cool from Green Day.
Oh, really?
Both my older brothers were really into punk rock music, so they showed me like Blink 182, Green Day, a bunch of other like Sum 41, those kind of bands. And
so like you come from like a pop punk background?
A mix of everything, really. My dad showed me Metallica, Slayer, Scorpions. Over here, my mom shows me like Dave Matthews and those kind of bands. And then right in the middle is my brothers show me all the pop punk music. So yeah, Trey Cool was a big influence growing up.
I think he's just an underrated drummer. If you like,
he really is.
Like, I mean,
he's not technical. He doesn't have any like,
but he can like
beats. But he's like in the pocket and just gets right to the point with his drumming.
I was about to say like he's not the most technical drummer, but like he can keep a beat. Lars Ulrich. Sorry.
Such a meme of a drummer.
But he can keep his he can keep a beat. He can he's not very, like he has really good fills too. If you listen to some of his music, or obviously like if you listen to like Revolution Radio by Green Day, just that album, like the drumming on that is actually like really solid. Like I think it's pretty underrated for anything that Green Day has done. But I was like, oh my god, like this is he really is underrated. Just like I mean, Travis Barker's a cool drummer too, but like I mean, I think he's just a little overrated at this point.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on who you look at, I guess. But yeah, I think like I really like Trey's drumming and Dookie, American Idiot.
On American Idiot, it's beautiful.
What was the one after that? 21st Century Breakdown.
Yeah, definitely like the mid 2000s Green Day for sure.
Yeah.
Just
those
the
were the albums that like really got me started.
Like just the songwriting. I know I'm getting like a little too into Green Day right now. Just the songwriting, like in that era for Green Day, it was just like it was so good. Mm-hmm. Like it was so amazing because you had like Green Day in the 90s where it was like straight like punk rock mixed with pop punk. Mm-hmm. But then you got into the 2000s where it was like a little bit more mainstream, but also the songwriting got a little bit more technical. And it was like, that was around the time when like, My Chemical Romance was coming out, like with 3 Cheers. You had, I think you had like Blink-182 self-titled album. And I think they were just all trying to be on par with each other. It was like that emo era.
Yeah.
And that's when like alternative music was really starting to pop off.
My Chemical Romance was popping back then.
I think the Used, the Killers. Who else am I thinking? I know I'm blanking on a couple.
I'm thinking of Sum 41. There was, a bunch of others out there.
Yeah, that was just amazing. But so growing up though as a musician, can you tell me like what was like your first like real musical like experience, like playing on stage, like where what was like your first memory?
Playing on stage, that probably wouldn't come until, I mean, technically my first like live performance, I guess you could call it, would be like 8th grade. I would, towards the end of middle school, I would bring my acoustic guitar and just kind of go choose a spot to eat during lunch, eat, and then start playing the guitar. And then like a few other kids would come by, drop a couple coins in there and whatnot. And
that kind of reminds me. That reminds me of when I was in college. I think I was like 18, 19 years old. I remember standing outside my class and I brought my acoustic guitar. I forgot why. I don't know why I brought it, but I was like waiting for class to start. And some guy just threw me $2.
Yep.
And he was like,
sounds about right.
I think I just strummed a chord, and he's like, cool, here's $2. And I'm like, great. I can buy me a water bottle. Thank you, sir. But that's actually kind of funny. Like, I mean, that fact that that's happened to you too.
Yeah. And I was playing a bunch of music that maybe one other person knew. Like I was playing a bunch of like 3 Days Grace and I think like a little bit of Nickelback and stuff. And there was one dude that I met. His name was Jonah Kane, I think. I almost called him Jonah Hill. But I don't know a lot of Jonahs. But yeah, no, Jonah came by one day. I think I met him through a mutual friend who knew his girlfriend or something. And they were like, oh, you play music? Cool, I'll bring my bass. And then we just started playing a bunch of 3 Days Grace covers. And yeah.
Like, I Hate Everything About You, The Animal I've Become.
Pretty much, yeah. I think a little bit of Breaking Benjamin. And, you know, the guitar that I had, I think you played on, I think I let you borrow it. It was the Yamaha acoustic one. Like, just a basic one you get at Guitar Center. I had it set to like E standard, but at such a young age, I was like really obsessed with low tuning guitars. So that's when I
think
discovered.
You still are, though.
Huh?
I think you still are, though, aren't you? I swear to God, every guitar I play that you own is like in drop A. And I'm like, oh my God.
Lower.
Drop E at this point, I think. You might as well just start playing bass.
I know. All you need is a laptop because the bass is so low on that. Yeah, like I tuned the acoustic guitar down to like A sharp, and it's just noodles at that point. It's just everybody's just like, "Hey, your guitar is rattling," and I'm just like, "Thanks." I know.
It's supposed to be like that, so thank you. So 8th grade was like your first real musical experience on stage.
Yeah, and then high school got a little better with both instruments. I got lessons at this place in Pleasanton that's no longer around anymore. It was called Garage Band Academy, I think is what it was called.
Okay.
I took lessons there. My buddy Aaron took lessons there. A bunch of other people took lessons there. And like once a month, once every couple months or something, they would have like a barbecue or something. And they had, there were a few people in there that they would like form a band together after like learning a bunch of songs. So we would go and play shows there, and I would do like a solo thing. And then like sophomore year, my buddy Aaron and I had already been friends for a little while at that point. So we were like, hey, let's form like a band.
And that's where like, I think if I remember correctly, that was the Matt Stetson band or the Matt Stetson experience.
Stetson band, that didn't come until junior year.
Okay.
So yeah, Aaron and I performed some weird song. I think I still remember how it goes. It was like da 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 da. Me just keeping like a regular drum beat, and Aaron is doing like a dad solo or something. And
so it's like I'm trying to think, it's like that, like an '80s song. I'm trying to compare, like, you know, da 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 da.
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
So technically, that was like my first on-stage experience, and then later on came like the bands and stuff.
Okay, so what was your first real project though? As
Stetson band.
So that was your first project.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that go? Like,
so you know, Aaron and I had been like, "Hey, let's form a band," and we knew a little bit of this kid named Ryan Lee, who was a drummer, and Aaron I think took a couple classes with him in high school, and we were just like, "Hey, you want to play drums?" He's like, "Sure." I only have an electronic drum kit, but sure, I'm down. And I was like, "Hey, you can borrow my drum kit." I had like an actual drum kit. It was a Gretsch Catalina maple drum kit that I let Ryan borrow, and then I think Aaron hit up. Aaron somehow got a hold of this dude named Talon, who lived over in Castro Valley, who is a really good bass player. I think he was friends with another friend that I had at the time, and they both come over. Everybody comes over to my house for like a tryout, and we just jam to like Three Doors Down, 3 Days Grace, Metallica, and after that we were like, all right, let's form a band.
That's usually how it goes. It's like
pretty much, yeah.
Okay, let's all learn some covers
in my parents' garage.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Like you, like, all right, we're all gonna go jam at my house. We're gonna learn these covers, and the next thing you know, you're writing your own riffs.
Yep,
writing your own songs. So it's like, okay, well, here we are. So, I mean, that's actually pretty cool though. Like, you've been playing music for this long. So, how did you get involved in the scene though? Because growing up in the Bay Area, especially for me at least, because I'm from San Mateo, you know this.
Yeah.
So our hottest spots were Gilman. So when I was in high school, you know, that was like 30 minutes away from me. So I would just drive or take the BART there. Actually, I think I only drove there because I don't think my parents let me take BART to Berkeley. So that's where I feel like I've met all of my people. Obviously, like I have a cousin who has been playing music forever. He started going out there when he was like 12. He's like 42 now. So a very long time. Did you ever start going to clubs and shows when you were in high school?
So,
or even like before that?
So like we didn't start playing shows until later junior year. We would bounce back and forth between Walnut Creek and San Francisco. I think you remember Red House, right?
Was that in Walnut Creek?
That was in Walnut Creek. That was that really tiny venue, like right outside of downtown. I think there was like a Five Guys and a shopping mall down the street or something.
It wasn't by the mall though, was it?
It was like 5 minutes from it.
The outdoor mall, right?
Not the outdoor mall, like the actual shopping
mall.
The
actual shopping center in Walnut Creek. Okay. I think I remember going there, but that was a long time ago. They've been closed down for a while.
Yeah, since 2016, I think.
Yeah, that's the year I graduated high school.
Same. Yeah, like Red House, we got like our first show, and then it would just bounce back between Red House and DNA Lounge in San Francisco, which fuck that place.
Yeah, I can't. That's like that's the one venue.
Probably the most disrespectful venue that
I've just heard a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people just not like that venue.
Yeah.
When
I was playing there, it was hit or miss. There were a few good performances, but a lot of times it was just bad staff, bad sound, bad vibe all around.
Yeah, I mean, I just always try to avoid playing there. The Red House I've never played at though, so
that was the spot to go to. Was
that like the Contra Costa of Gilman, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. Jason Newsted actually played there like years ago, like 20 years ago or something.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, Red House was always a good vibe. That's pretty much where like Stetson band kind of evolved for those next couple of years. Pretty much up until we went to college and stuff.
And after that, you guys just went your separate ways, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember there was this place in San Mateo. I was like a senior in high school, and we used to call this place called Mojo's Music. So it was like this guy used to live upstairs, like right above like a carpet store, and he actually did bass lessons.
Oh.
He was a bass player, and he had his own music like studio, like rehearsal place that you can rent out, and we used to throw shows there. That was like the spot. I remember like we would like it was such a pain because you know how like when you go to like the DNA lounge, like the upstairs place, you have to carry like all your gear like up like all those stairs. Like I feel like every musician has gone to a venue where you have to lug all your gear upstairs. And it's just like, oh my God, here we go again.
I am so glad that Ryan was in our band during that time because Ryan's fucking 6 foot, 180 pounds. Then there's me and Aaron, who are short and skinny. Our bass player, she was also short and skinny. So we were all like, Ryan, can you help with our drums? Can you help with our cabs? And he's carrying everything with like 2 hands, and we're just like struggling to get up.
It's like you're breathing heavy, like, oh my God, I'm sweating. Like, here I go.
Mount Everest now.
I'm like, oh, exactly. And then you gotta carry it downstairs, and it's like, oh.
No elevators too.
And that's just such a bummer. Like I think it's just so annoying, but like everyone's gone through it.
Yeah.
It's no matter where you are.
Same thing for when you play the downstairs stage. Because when you go to the downstairs stage,
there's little stairs, like but like at least you're not climbing like a steep set or flight of stairs where it's like
okay, true. Cause
like a small like 10-step stage or stairs is like okay.
Like I think at the DNA Lounge, the big stage, they have the stairs that like lead up to the stage, and then you have a little walkway, and then a few more steps, flat spot, and then a few more steps, and then there's the upstairs. So
yeah, I was just like,
that would be more ideal than just going up a steep staircase.
But anyways, as I was saying, this guy lived up there, and he passed away 5 years ago. May he rest in peace. I just remember going there in high school, and we would throw shows there, and it was just ridiculously hot. Like it was like a sauna because it was. First of all, it was like the ceiling was pretty low. So, and it was really dark and it was really hot. So it's like you're standing there and you're like, oh my God, I can't move. Like this is really hot. And we would just like, I just remember those shows being so much fun, but it was just so hot in there. And actually, to believe it or not, Mom Jeans, before they made it big, they actually played a show out there in like 2016. So I think it's kind of interesting, like where it's like, oh my God, like here's this band that's now making it big, touring across the country,
touring across the world at this point.
True, like I mean they're like pretty big now.
Yeah,
here they are.
I think I was like 4 or 5 years behind the lead singer of that band because he went to my high school.
I think Tyler went to school with
Tyler was about to graduate when I was there, when I was first getting there.
Yeah, I think I remember Tyler.
So they probably both graduated together.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Because I think Tyler just turned 30. And I think those guys are about in their 30s now.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was just like, it was kind of weird playing music on that side of the bay because you had that place, which was so legendary, but it lasted so long. Like I always say, like the best venues always get torn down, like within like a year or two. And I just remembered like playing there for like, I don't even think we played there for a year or hosting shows for a year there yet. And the guy was like, yeah, no, we can't do it anymore. And I'm like, like, really? We were having so much fun.
It was sad when the Red House shut down because I don't remember like what the politics or logistics were in that situation, but like I just remember seeing a post on Facebook like, we're shutting down, here's our last like 5 shows of the year, and immediately we were like, we got to get a last show there. So
yeah, I'm trying to remember
that was the most packed that I had seen that place too. So
I'm trying to remember if I've even been there or not. There's been so many iconic venues in the Bay Area, just playing at. But now I just feel like ever since the pandemic, I think all of them just closed down.
a lot of places have closed down.
Like the Honey Hive. I don't know if you heard of the Honey Hive in San Francisco.
I had heard of it, but I never played it. Same with Slims.
Oh, Slims.
Or did they close pre-COVID or post-COVID?
I think Slims closed post-COVID, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I remember Slims was probably like that's a venue that I've always wanted to play at. Like that is probably like that was such a good venue. Mm-hmm. That was probably one of my favorite venues in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like for at least for like as terms of like smaller venues. But the Honey Hive, that was just a great venue because that was right there on Judah Street, so it was like right down the street from the beach.
Oh.
So, but it was also in a part of San Francisco where it's like, you know how like you go into the city, you know how it's like it's always super congested, it's always super crowded. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, driving in the city is the worst. Oh, when you go to the Honey Hive, where I think it's like in like the left-hand corner of San Francisco, it's like a little bit more quieter. Of course, it's in San Francisco, so just trying to find parking there is just ridiculous. But I just remember it being super quiet and super peaceful. And going into the Honey Hive, it was cool, but it was pretty tiny. Like it was probably the size, I want to say, of like a medium garage. It was small.
Oh, okay.
Like it was probably, if I'm being realistic here, it's probably the size of my kitchen, maybe a little bit bigger.
A venue.
Yes, it was pretty small. Like I'm trying to.
Red House was probably, I want to say, maybe a little bit past where your front door is, and a little bit wider of this room.
Yeah, it's always the smaller venues that are just like the most packed.
I like playing smaller venues. It's more personal. Everybody is like closer together. Just I feel like experience, and like you're kind of forced to watch the band at that point too.
And I feel like for smaller venues, it's like that's where you meet people. I feel like that's where you're really connected. Like, you know, sure, you're probably playing in front of like 10 to 15 people sometimes, but it's like those 10 to 15 people.
Sometimes those are like the best shows too, because that's where everybody just kind of gets to know each other.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think I've met so many people through the scene just by like, oh, like I just checked out your set, and then I just connected from here on out with them. And it's cooler. Like I think the smaller venues, at least for musicians, like, you know, if you're not like obviously the goal is to make it big, but those smaller shows are just way better. Because once you start like climbing that mountain, I feel like you're just getting okay. Now that's when like money comes into play, and it's like, okay, well, what we'll pay you, but it's like they're gonna like obviously most gigs they don't pay you anyways. Like you're lucky to scrape off like $17 total that night.
That's the really rough part. And for the bands that I've been in, growing up, like when I was in Stetson band, nobody gave a fuck about our music. That's pretty much how Pleasanton is anyway. Everybody that we played at that was from like Danville, San Ramon, Berkeley, like those people, they had like a lot of connections, a lot of friends. A lot of people would show up to their shows, but for us, it was always rough because like there weren't really a lot of metal musicians at my high school. Like there were a few that we knew, but like they weren't in any projects like we were. And then after that, you know, like that's just when I don't know. I guess it was like really nice to play with the people that came from other places that we were at because like got a whole other exposure and whatnot. So
yeah, I remember those were times where because you had it like I remember in growing up, just when you were playing in the peninsula, you had a lot of younger people playing music.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, the thing is like, you know, they all have their friends, like, you know, they all had like their group of people that like, you know, that would show up because you were younger back then. So it's like, oh, like, you know, I'm doing this, just come out.
Yeah.
I remember there was this gig that I played and it was a full, like, it was like probably like, it was a pretty good turnout for this particular band. As soon as they were over, the venue pretty much emptied.
I had an experience like that once.
And I was just like, I remember feeling to myself, I'm like, oh my God, like it's like, that's brutal. Especially when you work so hard on these riffs and when you work so hard on these songs, and it's just like, like I get it. Like, you know, you know, you don't really expect a lot of people to show up, but for that to happen, it was just like, this stinks. But at least, you know, like I just said, like a couple minutes ago, at least I had like those 10 or 15 people that showed up and like watched my set or something. And like, you know, we connected after that.
I remember, this was a few years ago. So I remember like Super Bowl of 2022, I think it was. That's when I was in Captive State. We did like a small Bay Area tour, I guess you would call it. Really, it was just a bunch of shows.
I think I remember that actually. I remember you playing in Santa Rosa.
So like Friday we played at Crockett and Toots Tavern, which I think is my favorite local venue. Everybody there shows up. It's always a good time. No drama or anything. Saturday we played in Santa Rosa, and then Sunday, you know, Super Bowl Sunday, we show up to the X Bar, which essentially is the Red House of the Bay Area.
Well, I think it's like more the Red House of San Jose.
True.
Or what is it? Yeah, Cupertino, whatever.
Same area. Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. There's like 10 people there. There were supposed to be 6 bands. 3 other bands dropped out.
3 bands dropped out.
It was us, 13 Thrones, and some other band. And we all just kind of showed up. We're like, we don't really want to be here, but we're here.
So why did 3 bands drop out, though? That's crazy.
No idea.
3 bands.
I think one of the bands was Anadonia, which I think, if I remember correctly, the drummer of that band was also the drummer of what's that deathcore band that's like very big Christian band?
It's a deathcore band, you said?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm blanking.
Are they from the Bay Area?
No. I don't think so. But yeah. It was just us and 2 other bands and only a few people there, and we just made good friends with them, and we were like, yeah, we're just here to play our show, watch the Super Bowl, and just leave.
I think that's like the best part, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, you're going in there, playing your music, and going home.
Yeah, a lot of the times when you show up to a show too, it's like whole venue just smells like booze and cigarettes. And
that's like the best, though. It's like you always see like people like in their like late 40s, early 50s, and they're just all like they're all drinking like
a bunch of like failed musicians just trying to.
You're just sitting there and you're like, okay, well here I am, you know, let's do this. I definitely, it's kind of like Winter's Tavern in a sense.
That's the place in the Pacifica that we played at, right?
Yeah, but we played outside.
Yeah.
I think the inside. I wish I played the inside.
I wish I played the inside too, but like the outside was cool too.
I really, honestly, that was probably.
Luckily, it wasn't raining that day, but
it was really cold though.
It was. I think it was like in the middle of January.
I think that's actually when I bought my car, because I remember when we played at Winter's Tavern. That's when my car broke down. My red Nissan 2000 or my 2009 Nissan Murano. And
I remember your whole dashboard got the Christmas tree.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That car was legendary.
That was a really good car. But I like my Honda. But I remember playing like oh man, how am I supposed to get to this gig? So like I had to take my dad's car. But playing outside was pretty cool, but it was really dark. Like
it got dark quick.
I remember, it got really dark.
I don't remember because I remember there were 2 shows that night. I don't remember if we played in the middle or if we headlined.
No, there was a day show which I think we played at because I remember that show ending really early.
Yeah, I think that's the one that we headlined, and then right after that,
there was another show that was inside. Yeah, I think I remember that. So that was crazy. That was a good show though.
That was a nice area too. I like that venue. It was what, a 10-minute walk from the beach or something.
Really yeah, I remember. I just remember walking down the street and we were right there. I think we did go on the beach.
And then there was that liquor store that we walked by. I think there was
there was a liquor store. There was a couple of restaurants. I know there was there was this Mexican restaurant where I got a burrito at.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, so you joined No Wonder in 2021, right?
End of 21, I think.
Yeah, you joined us.
I think right after 22 is when we were finishing up the EP that I had just joined on, and then we just went to record it.
That's right. Hey, that was 3 years ago?
I think so, yeah.
God damn.
Wow.
Almost 4 if you're really thinking about it. This year's almost over.
I know. It's crazy.
Wow. I remember it was just yesterday. I remember going into, was it San Lorenzo or San Leandro?
I think so. Wherever Cody's.
Yeah, it was Rapture Recordings.
Yeah.
And I remember going in there for 8 hours. I think it was a total of 16 hours.
I think the first sessions, I think we paid for 2 days. And then after that was just a hourly session for vocals and reamps and a few other things.
Yeah, I remember we did that in April of 2022.
I think so. I think that's when Kevin stepped back from the band for a little bit. And
yeah, I do remember that. And then I think in June of 2022, we finished it up. So I think one of the greatest moments in No Wonder was probably going to Reno.
Oh, God. That show was fun, but it was also a clusterfuck.
It was, but for me at least,
that was our first
that was my first out-of-state performance.
I think I already played a couple out-of-state shows with Captive State at that point, so I played in Tahoe a couple times, and then going to Reno, I was like, oh damn, this is nice.
Yeah, I remember playing that show in Reno, and we played at the flea market.
Yeah,
for over. It seemed like it was 100 people.
There were a lot of people. And I remember... I think just in general, not a lot of people were paying attention to the bands just because there was a lot of other stuff going on.
Well, yeah, you had vendors, you had activities.
It was still nice to play that kind of show. I had played something like that before, and it's nice when...
But it's kind of I would say probably compared to a county fair performance.
Yeah. Which I've done before.
But I think this, for me, that show was so memorable because it was my first out-of-state show on top of just a lot of people being there. And I remember it being ridiculously hot.
Yes.
I
am so glad that they had the sprinklers on outside. Oh, my God.
But I don't know if you remember this, but we played on that stage that. And it was
a small stage. Well,
you had 6 people in No Wonder.
That also didn't help.
You had 6 people in No Wonder. You had 4 half stacks on stage. It was you had no pedal board. So I remember playing this gig with no pedal board. It was just guitar and amp. And I
had a distortion pedal and a noise gain. That was it.
And it was just so hot. It was 110. Granted, we were indoors, but it was 110 degrees outside.
Yeah.
In the middle of July, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. And I just remember my forearms were so sweaty that it was just like I was slipping off my guitar because I was playing my Fender, my Strat.
That's also why I wear wristbands.
I should probably start doing that if I'm because being on stage, to me at least, you know, you have the lights on you. Mm-hmm. You are getting sweaty by like your third song. Mm-hmm. Just by standing there.
It also doesn't help when you're wearing long sleeves or black, you know, but yeah, you're wearing dark colors, heavy clothing, never helps.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, dude, like this is so embarrassing. Like this is like my clothes are all wet, and then it's like, you know, you're off.
I remember for that show, I wore shorts, but I didn't bring a belt. So like half the show, my pants kept falling down. And in the middle of each song, I had to like keep on pulling them up. And I'm like, dude, this sucks.
I hate when that happens too. It's like you have no belt on like your shorts. It's like, oh my God, my pants keep falling off. And like, you're just really trying, like sometimes, I think one time I was playing a gig in shorts and I had no belt and they were falling off. And I remember I had to like push my guitar to my hips. And I'm just like, I'm playing like my guitar is falling off me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just don't have a belt.
I think if that were to be like an 18+ show, I'd be like, if you don't mind, I'm just going to take my pants off so they don't keep falling down.
What is this, Blink-182?
I'll keep the underwear on.
Okay, as long as we keep the underwear on.
Wear some long boxers that go down to my knees.
Those really long boxers. So, but that was a good show. I think for sure.
We almost didn't play that day, I remember.
Oh God, yeah, that was just.
So, I think to recap, if I remember correctly, you know,
I was so
one of us, was probably you or someone, was keeping in touch with one of the bands that was supposed to let their drummer like lend their kit to us. We were supposed to borrow their drum kit. Mm-hmm. And then when we got there, I think these kids were like in high school or something. His dad like walked up to us and was like, "No, you're not borrowing the drum kit." And keep in mind, we didn't bring the drums.
Yeah, we didn't bring, like, I
think Tyler only brought like his cymbal stands and that was it.
Yeah, I think he brought his stands and his cymbals. And I remember I messaged his, you know, we were traveling 4 hours away.
Yeah.
Like, and we didn't have enough space to obviously bring a drum kit. And it was so annoying just because it was like, okay, I remember we got there and the guy that I messaged, I was like, hey, I really need your kit, like as soon as possible. And I remember messaging him, he didn't respond. And I was like low key panicking. I was like,
but he didn't respond.
Like he wasn't responding. I was like, dude, okay. like hello. That's when I asked that kid. I think he was like the first band that played.
Yeah.
I remember he did have a really nice drum kit, and I asked him, hey, if it's possible, can we use that kit? Because we don't have one. And he was like, yeah, that's fine. And then his dad was like, no, like, like you can't use it. Like, I'm like, dude, really? Like we came 4 hours.
I remember we were looking for that dad, like about to chew him out.
Yeah, like I was really.
I was about to crash out on that guy and be like, "You motherfucker! Like we just traveled 4 hours."
Like I was really upset. I was like, "Dude, like I swear to God."
Yeah.
Like
and then we're on in like 10 minutes too.
But like I remember, there was this band that was outside. I forgot their name. I know I have.
We walked up to them,
and he was like, they were like the chillest dudes ever, and they were willing.
Like, hey, like I have a drum kit. It's 15 minutes away. I can go as fast as I can. We're like, all right. That's cool. Go do it.
Yeah, and like he was getting ready to do it and everything. And I was like, dude, you're a real one if you end up doing this. And then the guy messaged me and he showed up like 10 minutes before we were about to play. And I was just like, oh my God, thank you.
In the back of my mind, I was like, what the fuck, dude? But also at the same time, I'm just like, thank you for showing up.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, thank you, but also you stressed me out. I was just like, okay, thank you. And I remember actually the promoters, like, they were also kind of panicking. They were like, they don't have a drum kit. Like, they don't have and they were trying to search for something too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, please, just can someone help me? I don't even think
I'm surprised that event didn't have a few backup kits just for
they should have.
But
They like
a lot of venues already have house kits for those.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting, to the fact that this, especially for like a flea market, they didn't have a house kit. You would expect like an event like that to have some sort of kit.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what it was. I think they said like, oh, like we actually prefer people to bring their own kit. And it's just like, okay, I get it. But also at the same time, you should still be prepared.
Lesson learned.
So yeah, like that was like my biggest lesson. I remember pulling everyone aside and just going, hey, if we do this again, we're bringing a kit. Like we are bringing everything with us. I
remember walking up to everybody in the band being like, all right, if nobody shows up in like 5 minutes, we're pulling it.
Yeah, I was just so stressed, like, because it was like so hot, and it was just like
that definitely would have been a waste of a trip too.
I know, but I mean, I feel like we had a good time in Reno, though. I feel like before that, like we were just like gambling, eating.
I won some money for the first time that day too.
Oh yeah, we went to the slot machines. So
some good steak that I had too.
I forgot that restaurant. What
I forgot the name of it, but I remember I was the only one that got the steak cooked medium well. And everybody was looking at me like, are you serious?
Yeah, you're such a weirdo. Like, medium well for a steak. Like, I mean,
I like my stuff cooked.
All right, whatever. So, moving on, the producer side of you. So, you own Studio 97. So, you've been mixing and producing music for the last 6 years, 7 years?
Yeah, so Studio 97 is in my home studio, my old bedroom. That's where all the studio magic happens. But yeah, like somewhere in 2018, that's kind of when technically like my first experience was 2016 when I graduated high school. I went to Diobel Valley Community College for a semester and learned a little bit of stuff there.
Oh, that was in Martinez, right? Or Concord?
Pleasant Hill, Concord, yeah.
DVC.
Okay. And then like 2018 is when I like started to get a little bit more serious with it and learning how to do my own stuff. I think I remember I recorded my first ever single called Mono with a solo project I had at the time called Exertia, and like somewhere in the pandemic too is when I was like really starting to get hands on with music production, because that's when I picked up my internship with Cody Fuentes at Rapture Recordings, and just learning a bunch of stuff and self-teaching myself too from YouTube and whatnot. So yeah, like since then it's just kind of snowballed from there.
So do you think, because you've worked on a lot of projects, I remember you worked on a couple things while you were in No Wonder. I remember you helping me out with some certain songs that I had that we recorded like 2 years ago.
I think they were like covers too. Right?
Yeah, I think they were covers. I think I was making that for a gift for someone.
Yeah.
And then my biggest question for you is, for a producer, what do you think is the most stressful thing you go through? Because I think, for me at least, I have so much respect for audio engineers just because of how much they have to deal with. And it's like, some people are just so picky about...
there's a lot of clients that are particular, which, that's good to be particular, but
of course,
there's some cases where I'm just like, bro, I'm not even like showing my creativity at this point when you're telling me to do a bunch of stuff. So
what would you say, like, what would you say, like, your type, like, your style is, though, when it comes to, like, mixing and producing? Do you focus more on... Because I know a lot of people have, like, certain mixes that are just, like... There's this guy, I forgot who it was. He's up in SAC now. A lot of his mixes, he focuses more on, like, distortion.
Okay.
So a lot of his things kind of sound distorted, if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah. I think for me, like for the longest time, my biggest issue was trying to get it to like radio level without it sounding distorted, like trying to get a really loud, fat but clear mix. Um, so having to have not everything just blow up too is a big challenge, and then
Because I know a lot of people focus more
trying to find like the right like drum sounds or guitar sounds for a certain song.
Just stop with the snare, bro. Just stop with the snare. It's gonna sound like shit regardless. Just stop.
Add in samples.
Just move on to the next thing, bro.
Yep.
The snare will always sound like shit. I remember you when you made that TikTok. That was funny.
Yeah.
So I guess for like as an audio engineer or a mixer or the title you want to use, has there ever been moments though where you were just like, yeah, like I'm done with this. Like I can't do it anymore.
Oh, there's definitely been a few times. I think mostly just because like it's such a competitive business to be in, and
of course, like I think
to get like clients and stuff, it can be really hard to do so.
So like, what did you like when you started to do your own thing? How did you start it? Is what I'm trying to get at though.
It just kind of started in my bedroom,
like
just a laptop, Logic,
and you just started promoting it like, hey, like I will mix and record.
I just mixed what I thought sounded good, put it on SoundCloud, and just shared it on social media like crazy.
Because I've listened to a lot of the stuff that you've mixed and produced, and it sounds really good.
Yeah, especially the last couple of years because I've learned a lot. I get paid for an online class last year sometime with Jordan Vallatore, I think his last name is, based out of Toronto, Canada. Did bands like Silverstein, Intervals, Counterparts, his first album. And that's like where I really got better at how to produce music, mix music the right way. There's really not a right way. It's just preference.
Yeah,
but
I feel like every audio engineer has their style anyways.
Yeah. But that's where I really learned like where my mistakes were made. And that's when I learned how to like clean everything up, I guess. And that the song Slave from Insidious Behavior, my other solo project, that was my first mix and master that I felt confident about, because like it was loud, it was clear, it was in your face. Like I was able to add in bass drops without the music sounding all screwed up and everything.
Yeah, you were probably like adding stuff and it's like, okay, like it doesn't sound like
shit.
Everything is like off. Because I remember listening to mixes where it was just like, dude, like this.
And then I think that's also around the time that you and me were doing that cover project that you had going on. And I came to you and I was like, I'm going to remix everything that we just did. And it came out way better than what it was before.
I do remember that. I do remember the first recording of those covers that we did.
And they sounded okay.
They sounded good. But then I remember you telling me, you were like, hold on, like, let me just work on this a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, like, go ahead, do your thing. And you came back with me, and it just sounded like it sounded a lot better.
Yeah. I remember, like, both times that I was mixing them, I was trying, because, like, it was a punk rock thing that we were doing. So
yeah, so it was like, you know, like,
I don't want to go crazy with drum samples and everything. Like, if I have to trigger the kick or the snare, that's fine. But, like, I still want it to sound like a punk rock project, you know?
Right, because, like, obviously, like, if you listen to, like, old school 80s, like, punk rock, but, like, it sounds like it's recorded with a tin can.
Yeah.
Like, no offense. Like, I mean,
I think that's just kind of the whole vibe.
And, like, that's the whole vibe of punk rock. It's just like, okay, like, here's a tin can. It sounds like, you know, you're listening to it through, like, a tin can. Like, obviously, if you listen to, like, early, like, I love the Misfits, but if you listen to, like, Earth AD, like, the mixes are just, like, they're kind of rough, but they're so good. Like, that's what gives it the charm.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, at least, especially with punk rock, I am kind of picky when it comes to like mixing. So it's like I want it to sound like, gritty, but also clean at the same time. Because I've listened to a couple of records before, and it's just like, oh my God, like this would be so much better if it was mixed properly.
I was actually just listening to those covers like a couple days ago, and I remember I really liked what I did on Destroy You, because like the amps were pretty raw. I don't think I used amp sims for that one. I just used I used the Marshall that you had.
Yeah, I was able 900.
To, like, do my own tricks and stuff on it, and it sounded good. Like I was like, okay, this sounds like punk rock right here.
Yeah, I remember listening to that song too, and the guitars were probably the most powerful of that whole song. Even the bass was pretty, like it sounded pretty brutal. And I just remember sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, these songs are like this is really good how the way he mixed it. So, but I think for you at least, what I really admire about your musical career or like your musical journey is that you've always had, at least I've always seen with you, everything that you have done in the sense of like whether it's music projects that you are performing in or on the other side, which is producing, you've always had this mentality of, I know it sounds a little corny, and I've been saying it all year, you just never really gave up on anything, which is where I feel like it's got you to the today. Like so much respect from your peers. In No Wonder, I remember you coming up with riffs in songs that I don't remember what it was. I think it was when you wrote Waves in No Wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Waves or something else, but I remember you played something and I was like, dude, that was sick. And we just kind of built off that. That, I think, is just amazing that you have those kind of like those ideas that just pop out spontaneously.
Yeah. Always good to have inspiration too.
But like, where do you come up with all this kind of stuff on the spot? Like, do you just like?
I mean, I just kind of
like. Is it just something like, oh? He's like, I had like that idea too, where it's like.
You can hear me at this level, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know. I just kind of like maybe get inspiration from like another riff, and then just kind of like think of my own way to do it or something. And
because you were coming up with a lot of riffs.
Yeah.
And I remember you were like, "Oh, dude, check this out," and I was like, "Damn, that was really good."
There was that one that we tried to do where it was like, do 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 do.
I remember you made that on Garage. That's what I was thinking about. I remember we tried to do that, and that's actually a really good song that I wish we finished. I remember when you came up with that, and you came up with it on GarageBand on your phone.
Yeah, I think. And I remember it was really late one night, I think.
Yeah, you sent it to me at like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like,
I was like, okay, I gotta open the app and just start like tapping on the screen, and I was like, wait, I got it.
I remember you sent me that, and I was like, that's cool. And then I remember a couple months later, I just like, hey Matt, what was that riff you made? He's like, oh, I made that on GarageBand on my phone. I'm like, okay, well let's figure it out. And I was like, let's figure it out. Like it was just, I think it's really cool that you have like you have all these like things that just pop up and just go.
A lot of times, like I save stuff on my phone and I don't come back to it until like 8 months later or something.
That's literally me. I remember,
and then I'm just like, oh, I should bring that back.
Like, there's so many songs I have saved up on my computer right now where it's just like, oh, maybe I should go back to that. It's also kind of like what you've done with Arms Wide Open. The short time I was in that band, even then, like, that very first song that you showed me, which I think was the very first Arms Wide Open song that
yeah, was song 1, as we called it.
Yeah, I don't even know that.
We're not good at naming song titles for some reason.
Song 1, that was just like, because I remember coming up with an idea where it's like, all right, let's start a hardcore band. I think that would be a good idea. And you showed me this riff, and I'm like, dude, where does he come up with this stuff? It's like, I can give this guy anything, and he'll play it.
Yep, pretty much.
It's just like, that was a good song, though. And then I remember you wrote this song, I think it was like song 3, and I couldn't play the outro to save my soul.
Oh, the one that's like dun 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 dun.
I know, it was like a beatdown riff.
You were struggling, and I'm just like, this is how I play it.
I know, and I'm like, dude, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not the greatest. I remember Leela was trying to play it too, and she was like low key struggling, and then she eventually got it.
I think it was just so, like, if I remember correctly, it's a 4/4 count, and yeah, it's weird because, like, I think on the first beat I start off on the 2nd fret, and then on like the first beat, the next bar, I come back on the 1st fret, and it's like a weird.
That's what I used. Like, honestly, I still have the notes in my phone. That you wrote down for me. I think Leela actually wrote down for me.
Yeah.
And she shared it with me, and I'm like, I haven't really used it since. I'm like, and I was like,
I've used that riff specifically in a lot of other things. I think a lot of metalcore bands do.
Like that.
Like that dun dun dun.
Like
dun.
I feel like Tsunami uses that a lot, though.
I think the Acacia Strain does that too.
Like, I think I definitely hear that a lot in Tsunami. Like, if you listen to Contempt of Cop, it like that. I think it's like the second riff in that song. It's like dun 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 dun. I think that's like the nature of hardcore. It's like they all have like that same kind of beat down riff.
Like if you listen to Meshuggah, like
I actually saw Meshuggah. Actually,
I've seen them before too. They're tight live, but like they're the only way that I can tell like it's a Meshuggah song is when they do like ding 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 ding.
Well, they got like 10 minutes. Like, they got like 10-minute songs. So
I know. Like those high notes that they have on like the 3rd string that goes, and I'm like, yep, that's it.
It's pretty much all right. Cool.
Well, I've seen them live. I almost got my ass kicked at that show once.
I actually saw them live back in April. April.
At the Masonic in San Francisco.
Yeah, it was Cannibal Corpse.
I think AJ went to that show, and I was like debating on if I should go to that show or not.
Yeah,
it was like a Saturday or something, and
no, it was like on a Tuesday, I think.
Oh yeah,
it was like a weekday show. I remember. Yeah, it was a weekday show, and it was Meshuggah, Cannibal Corpse, and I think Carcass was on that bill.
I just remember seeing AJ's Instagram story, and like right before Bleed, you just hear everybody screaming.
I remember going in the pit for Cannibal Corpse.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's just like,
I've seen Cannibal once.
I've seen Cannibal Corpse twice. I saw them this year, and then the last time I saw them before that was in 2016 at the Summer Slaughter Tour.
I went to that tour, but in 2018.
Yeah, I went to it in 2016, and that was a great... Oh, man, I was like 18, too. I was like 18 years old, and that was brutal. That was a great show, though. But going in the pit for Cannibal Corpse this year, it's like, it's a death metal show, so it's like, you better prepare yourself to either block or you're going to get your ass kicked.
Yep.
If you're not in the pit. And I remember, like, for me, going into a pit at a death metal show is like... It's like a workout.
Oh yeah.
Like you are doing the maximum cardio, like that you can possibly. I feel
that's why you see a bunch of sweaty dudes afterwards.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I think the most cardio, like the most strong cardio. I can't even speak. I'm sorry. Like the best cardio workouts that you can get are in a mosh pit.
Mm-hmm.
Easier run. Like it's like you have like so much adrenaline in you, and it's like you're running in circles, but it's also at the same time it's like you get hit once it's over sometimes. You're either going to
And then the next day you wake up and you're just like, oh, my back is sore.
Well, I remember a buddy of mine, I think one of my friends that I went to at that show, he had like a bruised rib for like
sounds about right
4 weeks.
Ooh.
And I was like, yeah. Like, luckily for me, I've never gotten injured in a pit. Knock on wood. Especially because I've been going to a lot of hardcore shows and a lot of death metal shows, and it's just like the pits there are just like, oh my god, like I'm getting too old for this.
What was the most aggressive pit that you've been in?
The most aggressive pit?
Yeah. I think I can tell which one you're gonna say because the show that we went to was really rough.
I think it was probably the Knock Loose show.
Yeah.
The Knock Loose show in Sacramento at Ace of Spades. The only reason why I say it was so aggressive. So Tsunami,
Tsunami was co-headlining, I remember.
I was already expecting a really violent pit.
Yeah.
From Tsunami. So I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm already prepared for it. But when Knock Loose came on, I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here.
The guitar player for that band even acknowledged, hey, we encourage violence.
And that's the thing, it's Knock Loose, so you really got to go in there and just expect it. But the thing is with Knock Loose shows, and I love them to death. I love Knock Loose. But I always feel like I'm going to have a fucking seizure every time I go see them. Because their lights are always flashing. And I'm like, oh my God.
I felt that way when I saw Meshuggah.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way towards Meshuggah. I definitely felt that way towards Knock Loose. Especially
I can kind of see that.
At least the first time I saw Knock Loose. The second time I saw Knock Loose, I was just like, okay, that's not bad. The third time, though, when I saw them in San Jose, like 2 years ago, or no, a year ago, I was just like, oh my God, like, give me my sunglasses or something. Yep. I think that was probably the most aggressive pit that I've been in.
That was the most violent pit I've ever seen. I made the smart choice of going up in the balcony. For the whole show, I was like, fuck the pit. I'm not going anywhere near that.
Yeah, I just, sometimes it's just like, oh my God, like, I just want to throw in the pit.
And then Ryan's friend Michael joined us for that show, and Michael loves to get in the pit. And even he, like halfway through Knock Loose's set, comes up and he's like, dude, ooh.
Yeah, I think I remember walking out of, like, I think because when Knock Loose started playing,
some dude got really sick during that show and he got escorted out, and there were a bunch of people who were like bleeding from their face leaving.
Oh yeah, it was pretty brutal. I remember when Knock Loose started playing and I was up front in the barrier, and they're all coming out it's like they're all being tough guys and stuff. I remember it was the first song they played. I think it was probably Belleville or
I think if I remember correctly, it was the first one off that EP that they released.
I'm trying to remember. I thought it was Belleville, but I can be wrong. I just remember a guy backflipped. No, he front flipped.
I saw a lot of those.
He front flipped off the stage, and he kicked me in the back of my head. And I was just like, okay, I'm getting out of here. And I remember just squirming just to get out. And there was this lady, and she looked at me and she's like, yeah, this ain't for you. And she pulled me out, and I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Where the Light Divides the Holler.
That was the first song?
The song. Da, 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 da.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yep. I just remember going in there, and I was just like, yeah. I'm like, all right, I'm getting out of here. And then I think you were up, like, he's in at Ace of Spades. It's like that upstairs place.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come join you over there, bro.
Yep.
So, I think that for sure takes.
I think I remember Ryan told me during that show he was starting to get really frustrated with all the crowd surfers, and there's that one dude who kept on like front flipping around you guys, and then Ryan just took him by his legs and just threw him right on the ground.
Jeez.
Which is unexpected from Ryan, because I don't see Ryan hurting anybody. But when he told me that, I just burst out laughing.
I always laugh at the fact that sometimes at these local shows though that you go to, like they I always think that hardcore shows or like metalcore shows, like the local ones at least, when like you could be played at an ice cream shop or like a pizzeria Denny's. Or like a Denny's. They always have the most, like it's like you're trying to like
the most aggressive, obnoxious shithead in the pit.
Like it's just like, dude, like you're at a Denny's, like you're at a Denny's, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, or like you're at like
playing my nephew's birthday party. Calm down.
It's like there's always it's always that one guy that's like trying to hype everyone up. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to eat my Denny's Grand Slam. Just leave me alone for a minute. And it's just like it never fails. And I always feel like there's always like 2 or 3 people out there at like a show that 20 people are attending max. And it's just like they're having like I love it though. It's like they're having fun. And that's what you should do. It's like you're having like music, the local scene is supposed to be fun. And like, but it's just like it's so funny sometimes. It's like you know how shows are. It's like people are like crossing their arms, looking at you like, you know, okay, like like show me what you got. And then you have that one guy.
I've got a lot of those.
Even you get like that one guy who's like running in circles, and it's just like
Captive State has a fan like that. Like he's always running in circles in the pit. He's always like jumping and like it's like, dude, are you on speed or are you just like really excited to see these guys?
Yeah, it's just I love it though. I think it's just like it's funny, but it's also like you're being yourself. Like, you know, you're not scared to really express yourself in that way. So I think it's cool, but it's just like, oh my God, like, bro, like, are you okay?
Yeah, man.
So
crazy.
I just it's a fun thing. But all right. Well, anyways, thank you for listening to Your Time Is Now. And Matt, I appreciate you being on here.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night.